She was just a teenager, but armies followed her. In the early 1400s, Joan of Arc was nothing more than a peasant girl in a small village in France. She couldn't read. She had no training, no power. But she claimed something unbelievable. She said she could hear voices, voices from heaven, guiding her, commanding her, telling her to save France. At the time, France was losing a brutal war against England, the 100 Years' War. Cities were falling. Hope was fading. The future looked lost. But Joan refused to accept it. At just 17 years old, she traveled across the country, risking everything to meet the future king of France. No one believed her at first. Why would they? A teenage girl, claiming divine guidance, asking to lead an army. It sounded insane, but somehow she convinced them. And what happened next shocked everyone. Joan was given armor, a horse, and an army. She rode into battle, not as a soldier, but as a symbol, fearless, unshaken, and against all odds. She started winning. Battle after battle, French forces began pushing back. Morale returned. Hope came back to life. Some believed she was chosen by God. Others thought it was luck. But one thing was certain. She was changing history. Then, everything collapsed. In 1430, Joan was captured, not by the English directly, but by allies who turned against her. She was handed over and put on trial. But this wasn't a fair trial. It was designed to destroy her. They accused her of heresy, of lying, of pretending to hear divine voices. They pressured her, trapped her with questions, tried to break her spirit. But she didn't back down. Even alone, even facing death, she stood by her story. In 1431, at just 19 years old, Joan of Arc was sentenced to die. She was taken to the center of the city, tied to a wooden stake. A crowd gathered. Some watched in silence, others in fear. The fire was lit. Flames rose around her, but witnesses later said something chilling. Even in her final moments, she didn't scream in fear. She called out to God. And then she was gone, burned alive. But the story didn't end there. Years later, the very people who condemned her admitted the truth. Her trial had been unjust. She was declared innocent. And centuries later, she became a saint. Joan of Arc, the peasant girl with no power, became one of the most powerful symbols in history, because sometimes the people the world doubts the most are the ones who change it forever.